What's up everybody, Nick here. Today's video is going to be a shorter one and definitely on the rant side of the spectrum. So if you don't like those, feel free to jump out now. But the reason for the video is that there was a very recent product launch. Some new lenses came out in the budget anamorphic space, and it made me really want to address this issue of bias in reviews and what we don't often see as consumers of that content. And here I am, someone who publishes videos as well, and I do product reviews sometimes. So everything I complain about here, you can apply that to me. Use the exact same rubric that I'm about to talk about on the videos you see here. I'm not saying that I am above any of the things that I'm about to say, but anytime a product is launched, as long as the company has a reasonably competent media and marketing strategy, you'll see this same sort of pattern play out. There will be very little information about the product. Maybe it's been seen at a trade show here and there, but the official launch is going to occur on, October 1st or whatever the day is. And that company will have previously sent samples of the product to a bunch of content creators and influencers that they know already, that they have relationships with, that they have some kind of expectation of their output and what they do as reviewers. Those creators know that on October 1st, this product is going to be launched, and so have a video ready to go that day. It is in those reviewers' interests to have a video ready to go that day, because as reviewers, they depend on traffic to their channel for revenue. Okay, everybody with me so far? There's nothing wrong with that. That is normal, that's ordinary, it occurs in every industry with every brand that is reasonably competent at doing product launches. The problem comes when we, as consumers of that content, don't recognize the invisible bias, and the content creators don't do a good job of flagging it. So let's get away from content creators, and I'll give you an example of a channel that I think does a fantastic job of broadcasting their implicit bias. And that's going to be somebody like CVP. So CVP is a shop in the UK. They sell cinema and photography equipment to consumers, and they're totally upfront about that. Every single video ends with them plugging their brand and telling you, hey, go over here. If you have more questions, contact our sales team. They're making it very clear that they sell this stuff. And ironically, I think they are the most transparent review channel anywhere. They're extremely data-driven. They're extremely rigorous in how they conduct tests and how they talk about camera equipment and so forth. And they have a bias, which is that they want to sell things to you, and they tell you that. And they're also making revenue off of their YouTube channel. So bravo for them. They're double dipping, but I think they're one of the most extraordinary channels out there. They've made a unique selling proposition out of their information. And so that's fantastic. They have a bias, they tell you about it, and yet they do a fantastic job in spite of that, or maybe because of it. Now, when we look at the more content creator side of things, the folks that say, the first thing you'll usually hear in a review is, Brand X has no say in this video, they didn't get to see it or provide input before it was published, I don't get to keep this product, and no money changed hands. That's like a standard phrase now you'll hear in a lot of reviews. And great, that's an important step in transparency. But what those content creators don't say is, and I depend on a continuous influx of products coming to my door for me to review in order to get traffic to my channel, in order to get revenue, in order to keep doing this job. And that's not to say that they aren't good at what they do. And that's not to say that their reviews aren't valuable. What it is to say is, I think there should be a little bit more recognition of that fact. Like, yes, I have to keep getting stuff sent to me so that I can review it, so that I can make the reviews and have you guys watch them so that I get paid. And I have a hard time being extremely negative on a brand if I think the product is really bad, because I'm worried that brand or others might see the negativity in the review and not want to send me stuff in the future. We don't hear that. And we as consumers often don't recognize that implicit bias. And so that brings me to the launch that I was just talking about. So, you know, a brand launched some new lenses in the budget anamorphic space, and they had a good media strategy. You know, all the videos came out, and I don't want to be overly harsh here because I'm glad that these kinds of things exist. But in all of the content about these lenses, I didn't see a single shred of what I would consider objective criticism about them. In my opinion, this space, the sort of budget anamorphic space, is not worth the time or the effort for most folks. I think south of $5,000 a lens, there is not a single anamorphic that I would want to use my money on, either purchasing or renting. There are tremendous spherical lenses in that budget, but really, when it comes to the anamorphics, for me personally, nothing that makes me go, wow, I would want to spend $1,500 on that lens and I would shoot on it. There's just so many drawbacks, limitations, not limitations even, because even a limitation can be a positive thing in terms of inspiring creativity and making good content. But in my opinion, that space just hasn't matured to the level where budget spherical lenses have, in which there's so many fantastic options. You know, like just as a little example, right? So here's two lenses. I purchased these both with my own money. This is a Canon 50mm f1.8 RF and the Desiofilm RL 50mm t1.4. These are two of my favorite lenses in the world. I considered trying to shoot an entire feature film just on this little plastic lens, just to kind of prove a point that it could be done. I still kind of think about that sometimes. This lens is just gorgeous. It's wonderful. It's so fun to work with. It's not a true cinema lens. It's harder to pull focus on, etc. But other than that, it's absolutely wonderful. And then this is just like a lens I'll probably own forever. It makes absolutely gorgeous images, and you know, it's a true cinema lens in every sense of the word. Like, I love these lenses both. These are both, you know, way under $5,000. So what's the point of this rant? To help just make a point to you, the consumer of content, take a look at the providers of your content and think, what is the bias? What are they trying to get out of me, the viewer? Even if the person does good work that you trust, make sure you understand what's in it for them. And totally, again, apply that rubric to me. You know, I don't think I depend on this channel for revenue. There's like 5 of you watching these videos, but that's number one. Understand your reviewer and what they want out of you, basically, or what they want out of their channel. And number 2, don't be afraid to have your own opinion, right? That's the other part that kind of was maddening about this product launch. You know, this product came out, there's just this overwhelming positivity about it, and everyone's saying it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I look at the product and go, I wouldn't ever want to really use that in a professional setting. And it's not because I don't like anamorphics. I've worked with anamorphic lenses. I've done a little bit of review of anamorphic on this channel. There are anamorphic lenses I adore. These ones aren't it. So don't be afraid to have your own opinion, even if that opinion isn't represented in the reviews that you watch with the reviewers that you have come to enjoy and somewhat trust. Just because your 10 favorite reviewers said this is the best new thing out there doesn't mean that it is, or doesn't mean that it will be for you. So that's really what I'm getting at. Again, I really don't mean to harp on any particular brand, because I like that there are companies in this space working to make new products for creators. I'm really glad that the cinema space just continues to open up, to become more accessible. That's fantastic. That's wonderful. If I thought that this video was going to harm that, I wouldn't have published it. But I don't think, you know, what I say in my basement is going to affect the larger industry. But to the extent that I can be an influence to anyone, it's just those 2 things. Understand your source of content, and don't be afraid to disagree with it. That's all for now. I hope you guys are all having a great week, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.